In 1525, Charles V, the Habsburg king and Holy Roman Emperor, won the Battle of Pavia against the French in what was the most decisive engagement of the Italian War, which lasted from 1521 to 1526. The Habsburg victory at Pavia led to the Treaty of Madrid, where Francis I of France abandoned his claims to the Duchy of Milan and ceded the province of Burgundy to the House of Habsburg in order to be freed after he was captured at Pavia. After this battle, however, Charles failed to pay many of his troops. The House of Habsburg controlled vast swathes of Europe, including Spain and modern-day Germany, and his troops were made up of soldiers primarily from these areas. Angry at their lack of payment, these soldiers revolted and laid waste to the Italian countryside before they eventually reached Rome. The source of power in Rome at this time was the Pope at the time being Clement VII. Charles V had threatened military action against the Pope due to his decision to support Francis over Charles in the Italian wars. Charles felt hugely betrayed by this and wanted to speak to the Pope directly about it in Rome. Yet George von Frundesberg wanted revenge against the Pope, both for going against Charles as well as his personal opposition to the Reformation that was being led by von Frundesberg's fellow German, Martin Luther. Many of Charles's troops were German supporters of Luther who wanted to punish the Pope too. So determined was von Frundesberg that he paid 10,000 German Landsknecht out of his own pocket to mutiny. Alongside them were 6,000 Spanish troops under the command of the Duke of Bourbon, as well as some Italian infantry and some Lutheran outlaws. The mutineers eventually reached the historic walls of Rome, but quickly saw their leader, the Duke of Bourbon, shot and killed. The death of the rebels' leader somehow made the papacy even more vulnerable, as it meant the army had completely free rein to act as they wished, and they succeeded in storming the walls of Rome later that same day. It was in this moment that the event known to history as the Stand of the Swiss Guard took place. The Swiss Guard had been established 21 years before in 1506 under Pope Julius II in order to protect the papacy, and they battled the invading army with great courage despite being vastly outnumbered. The brutality of the invasion was shown in the killing of Swiss Guard captain Caspar Royst by Spanish soldiers in front of his own wife. Despite some resistance from the locals of Rome in defending their city, the rampage continued. Pope Clement VII hid as many as 10,000 people were killed in defending the city against the rampaging mutineers. Countless churches and monasteries were looted too, and there was a huge economic hit to the papacy as a result. Furthermore, the events of the sack made huge numbers of people leave Rome, with its population going from 55,000 before it to a mere 10,000 after. The total number of people killed in the sack of Rome is estimated to be between 6,000 and 12,000. The Vatican Library was only spared from the sack due to Commander Philibert of Chalon physically standing in the way of his troops, which prevented them from attacking it. When Emperor Charles V learned about the sack, he was deeply embarrassed, but in the long term it did limit the papacy's status as a power in European politics. Their main focus was rebuilding after the severe damage the sack caused. So profound was the shock that the sack had on the papacy that its counter-reformation went on to emphasize piety, perhaps as a countermeasure to the political chaos that had reared its head in the 1520s in Europe. That same chaos had left the city of Rome in ruins and the Pope a prisoner, so piety and a reduced status in European politics became the reality for the papacy. Thank you for watching Tales from History. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for updates. If there are any other topics you would like me to cover, please let me know in the comments section below, and I'll see you in the next one.